The Big 12 Experience Baseball Weekend Look Ahead for the month of May edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy, pick them for a chance to win 100 times in NBA, MLB, MMA, NHL, golf, and more. Sign up today using that promo code TCESGPN to get a 100 deposit match today. And we're also brought to you by NYRA Bets. Sign up today for a $25 free bet and $200 bonus bets with the promo code SGPN25. So go over there, nyrabets.com/SGPN25. Welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Tuesday, May the 2nd. May the force be with you. Cheers, everybody. Happy hours here, 5 o'clock on the East Coast. We got a big weekend in Big 12 baseball, big weekend in college baseball. We're going to dive into it, get you set. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And we're talking Big 12, so that means joining me on the line, you guys know him as a walking contradiction because he was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He lives in Morgantown, West Virginia, co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show, Rambling Rush. What is up, man? Nice backdrop, by the way.
I appreciate it. From our episode earlier today, got West Virginia basketball team looking good, man. It's been a great previous weekend. Great week for West Virginia sports. Rolling crush Pitt. A Mountaineer came out with his musket and shot a Panther right in PNC Park. That game was ugly. Oh man, it wasn't a game. It was awesome. It was great. But obviously, getting down to the end here, the thick of things, and got to finish strong. Win at least share that Big 12 tournament. And quick side note too, you start off May the 4th be with you. That's in 2 days, and that's also Troy Chewning's birthday as well on Saturday. And I have a feeling right before Cinco de Mayo, with it all falling on a weekend, if Troy remembers any of the text messages he sends out, then he didn't do it right.
Indeed. If you're wondering who we're talking about, third man in the box. He's got a family civil war going on in the Big 12. One departing in Norman, another one in Stillwater, another one in Waco. You guys know him as the 6-time Zen champion. He is the green mowing weed growing Troy Chewning, a.k.a. the Big 12 guru. Sorry, it's been a minute. What's up, Troy?
Well, we got the Kyle Finnegan, Luke Skywalker X-Wing bobblehead on my birthday. So nice. At least we know the ballpark's going to be pretty full instead of 8,000 fans up in there. But yeah, hopefully the weekend is very memorable, but don't remember much of it. That's going to be the goal.
That nice fine line.
Yeah, and great job, guys, on getting Javon Small out of Stillwater. He's a hell of a basketball player. That's a really big get for you guys. Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah, this is baseball. We can always throw on
the Big 12 show.
We got the football backdrop. Portal season. Portal's done. Or first round of portal closed last night at midnight. So if you didn't get in the portal, I'm just sue the NCAA. You can be in the portal within 24 hours. I'm sure.
You can move without the portal nowadays. Just say that you have representation and you're willing to go to court, and they'll be like, "Oh, no big deal."
Yeah, indeed. All right, let's talk Big 12 baseball, because a month ago we did a little bit of an April preview. We had Noah Beanick from the College Baseball Experience giving out some futures. Go check out that one, because we had a couple move in our favor. Hinted at a couple teams that we thought could make some moves in the month of April, and they have, a.k.a. the Mountaineers. But as we stand, everybody has played, not everyone, either 21 games or 24 games. So we have everybody sitting at 2 series left to play or 3 series left to play. There's my math for this episode. Oklahoma, their final year in the Big 12, as we talk about every episode, sitting at 15-6 in league play. Right behind them, one game back, are Troy Chewning's Oklahoma State Cowboys at 14-7, tied with our West Virginia Mountaineers at 14-7. You got Texas in their final year at 13-8, Horns down. Kansas 12-9, Cincinnati 11-10 in their first year. Texas Tech is 12-12, so they're one of the teams that has played 24 instead of 21 games. Then you got K-State at 10-11, UCF and Baylor both sitting at 9-12, TCU a disappointing 10-14. I think we all agree. Houston and BYU in the basement at 6-15, 6-18. Troy, I will hand it to you. Thoughts on the Big 12 baseball so far, and as we come down the stretch here, which is the final 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is Oklahoma State being 10-2 at home, and having out of their last 3 series, they go to Austin and to Houston. I know Houston's not the most challenging of teams, but you might want to keep that in mind when you're looking at who might get the top seed for the conference tournament and really set themselves up to get to, regionals, super regionals. I really think that might be your guys' team in West Virginia. When you look at some of the last few series for some of these teams, Oklahoma State and Texas are probably going to at least split it 2-1. You would think maybe Texas gets that sweep because they're playing at home, but I highly doubt Oklahoma State doesn't at least get one game there. But when you look at West Virginia's schedule, they go to Cincinnati, not all that challenging. They play a home game against Penn State, which will probably go a lot like that Pittsburgh standalone game. They'll probably beat the living shit out of them. Then they get to play home against Kansas State and then go on the road against TCU at the end. You almost think that the Big 12 is expecting that last West Virginia and TCU series to have a lot more weight to it than what it does right now. But that might play in West Virginia's favor, might play in TCU's favor. Don't really know right now because TCU is such a hard team to read, but I will say with West Virginia starting off so slow in the beginning of the year and still being, one game back here of the top team in the Big 12, pretty impressive turnaround for them to do it all in a year. And you guys were mentioning they don't even have their best player playing a bunch.
Yeah, Weatherholt, he's back, but yeah, he did miss a bunch of time. Rush, thoughts on our Mountaineers as they come into a big series at the Cincinnati Bearcats?
Well, I think there's two. So what's interesting about West Virginia, and it actually shows how far they've come, is I think the story of West Virginia is actually kind of a metaphor for the story of how the Big 12 baseball season's going. So taking it a step back from when we were with Noah last month, that was right before the West Virginia UCF series. And both were kind of at that same point. I think UCF was even ranked at the time. I could be wrong about, they were. So they were at 17. And we said the winner of that series, will propel, the other one will fall behind. And that's exactly what happened. We ended up jumping to 17th or whatever it was around that range. We swept UCF, which was kind of a shocker. And we started, that's really when that jump began. What was weird about that time, though, either the weekend after or the following weekend, the next Big 12 series, Texas Tech, we got swept by them. And last time we talked to Noah as well, we were like, hey, Texas Tech is probably due to make that jump, or at least Noah felt that way, that they were more than capable of. And besides them sweeping us, they're a 500 team. They really haven't done a lot. So my point with saying all this is I think we are at the point of the season where the top 4 teams in Oklahoma State, West Virginia, and Texas, one of those will win the Big 12, if not all 4, have a split depending on how it goes. But we also talked about, TCU, and Troy brought up a great point with West Virginia and TCU being the last series, and maybe that's for something as well. But this TCU team hasn't been much of a surprise. Actually, they've been a surprise in the sense of we kept thinking they were going to jump up, and they're kind of just chilling there at the bottom of the Big 12, and they still have great odds to go to the College World Series and win it for at least what they represent in the Big 12. So I guess the questions here are, and it's kind of those few teams. Is TCU going to make that jump? The reason, bring up West Virginia is, besides obviously the Ryan and Rush show in West Virginia, is the way West Virginia has been. They've kind of been up and down as well. And I feel like a lot of schools like that have been in the Big 12. And that's why I feel like West Virginia's kind of been the metaphor of the season. But let's see if they can propel forward with these 3 series left. And it's kind of been disappointing for these other teams, UCF, Texas Tech, TCU, especially these warm weather states as well. So a lot to figure out these last couple weekends, but I think those top 4 are some combination of it is who remains to get the regular season tournament.
Yeah, and hold that thought real quick, because I got to get us paid real quick. I want to come back to that. SGPN promo's got it going right now at the playoffs. That's right. Make sure you tune in all week with the NBA and hockey gambling podcast for episodes to get locked in on exciting playoff action. Plus, it's Derby week. Go, let's get them horses racing. Pony up over at the Sports Gambling Podcast. Tune in as the guys get you ready for the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. All right, we are back on the Big 12 college experience. Rush, I want to dive back into your point about kind of the top 4 teams have kind of, and you can maybe even throw Kansas in there in a way, because I got the standings pulled up right here. If you look at the teams, their home versus away breakdowns, these teams, TCU, that have struggled, they have been atrocious on the road. TCU 4-11 away from Fort Worth. Baylor 5-9. K-State at 8-12. We've been waiting for Texas Tech to go on a run. They're 5-11 away from Lubbock. They're 22-4 at home, and TCU's 19-5. So those are the 2 that really pop. In Cincinnati, who the West Virginia plays this weekend, 7-15 away from the great city Cincinnati. But you look at the top 5, West Virginia actually has the worst away record, but they're 14-5 at home. But they've been able to stay 500 on the road. They're 11-11.
That's actually pretty impressive too, because the thing about that, Ryan, is what Troy brought up with JJ being out the start, because we usually start our season on the road in Florida, like we have to. So a lot, like, that's not even a true like 11-11. It's actually a lot better. Like 11-11 is actually impressive for how it went down.
Well, that series at Cincinnati, because Cincinnati's not too bad in league play at home. I think they're 7-2 in league play at home. Yep. So that West Virginia series at Cincinnati could probably be that's probably the make or break. If they can go win 2 out of the 3 there, they get to play K-State at home, who we mentioned 5-7 on the road in league play. And then they go to TCU, who's only 7-5 at home. That's not usually TCU's the team that really holds down their home territory better than 7-5 in league play. So if West Virginia can win 2 of those games in Cincinnati, or maybe even, pull off the sweep, that really sets them up, I think, to be the team that is given that number 1 seed in the Big 12. You see, I mentioned Oklahoma State has to go to Texas, but Texas is only 5-4 at home in league play. Some of these teams that are usually really good at home are just they don't really have the juice in league play. And that might just be a part of the whole, it seems to be like that across all the sports in the Big 12, where there's no real outliers on either side. It's a lot of median teams that are just beating up on each other. Seems to apply here in baseball too. But I do think out of all the teams, your best chance at a future is probably Texas when it comes to the College World Series.
College World Series. Yeah, they're going to get the blue blood treatment too with the season. Yep. We'll dive into the futures market at the end. But just want to look ahead to this weekend too, real quick, because we do. So we have a couple non-conference schedules that we talked about coming into this weekend. BYU actually plays Miami here in about an hour on the ACC network. So go Cougs, get it done. I think there's only 5 Big 12 matchups this weekend. West Virginia's going to Cincinnati. TCU's going to Baylor. Kansas, K-State. So you got the Sunflower Showdown on the diamond. Oklahoma State, Texas, which Troy's kind of hinted at as a huge series. Oklahoma's got to go to Lubbock. We talked about Texas Tech being 22-4 at home. UCF going to Houston. Rush, just a series that, or prediction, like on Monday when we check the standings, where we're at through 24, some of the teams 27, a series that you're looking at, and just a bold prediction headed into the weekend.
So Troy brought up the West Virginia, Cincinnati, and the Oklahoma State, Texas series. Obviously, for that upper echelon, those are the series there. An interesting series, TCU Baylor. West Virginia just swept Baylor. Baylor's not the greatest team. Is this TCU's chance to sweep them and get that momentum starting? So another, if there's a time, now is it. You got to sweep Baylor.
And TCU, a side note, TCU, this is their second to last series too. They only play West Virginia after this.
Then,
so like,
so next week they play someone else.
Yeah, this is like you said, now or never. They need to get some momentum headed into the Big 12 tournament that happens to be in their backyard. They play New Mexico State. Guns up. Troy, go ahead.
I was going to say an interesting one for me is K-State Kansas, because you've got Kansas on a heater right now. They've won 5 straight games, the longest win streak active in the Big 12. And, they're that 5th team right behind the 4 that we're talking about. If they can stay kind of hot, end of year baseball is really just vibes. There's not a lot of talent determining who's going to win games and whatnot. It's the teams that, grind through a three run first inning when they're down 3-0 and don't just immediately, pack it in and say, we'll play again tomorrow. And, you start winning games in a row at the end of the year, anybody can be dangerous. We know that you could have the worst little league team decide like, oh man, no one can beat us right now. And the kids start playing with, crazy confidence you haven't seen. I think Kansas is an interesting, like, super duper dark horse to look at least in the Big 12 tournament. If they can finish kind of strong, they could probably get themselves, with some of the other teams possibly splitting some of these bigger series, they might be able to get themselves a top 3 seed. Maybe they can make up 2 games, but you would think they're going to have to at least get 2, if not all 3 against K-State. So we'll see how that goes. And the rivalry games never go according to plan. We'll just say that, specifically in baseball.
Yeah. Looking forward to the Sunflower Showdown on the Diamond. It's always a good one, especially with Kansas coming in red hot. Real quick, got to pay some more bills. We're talking NYRA, baby. Bet the run for the roses with NYRA bets. Score big on Kentucky Derby with the double roses for double dose of rewards. Sign up today for a $25 free bet and $200 deposit bonus with promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit bonus at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. And you can bet Kentucky Oak State with $30 bonus. Opt in and bet at least $150 at the Belmont. In the Big A, Churchill Downs, $30. Win or lose, they're giving away $50 for a Derby $150. Bet $250 on Belmont at the Church A and the Churchill Downs for a $50 bonus. Visit nyrabets.com to opt in today. And make sure you claim your $25 free bet and $200 bonus at nyrabets.com. That's code SGPN25. We're back on the Big 12 college experience. So, Rush, looking forward to Baylor, TCU. Troy's looking forward to the Sunflower Showdown. I'm looking forward to the Texas Tech game, the Texas Tech series. Oklahoma comes in first place. Texas Tech is 22-4. Does Texas Tech make another statement here in Big 12 play? They currently sit at, they're out of first place running, but they could really be a spoiler here with the last year in the Big 12. They only have 2 series, so this is their second to last series. But hey, let's talk futures market. I got our odds pulled up. Go check out. We gave out TCU. Not TCU. We have West Virginia and Texas Tech last month with Noah. they both have moved in our favor. Looking at the odds right now, the number one best odds is somehow TCU.
Still
That's what
TCU,
I'm
right?
saying.
Yeah.
Like,
How are they still 60-1? Wow. So TCU 10-4. I will say they're 3-0 on neutral fields. The tournament is on a neutral field, even though it's in Fort Worth. But at some point, they got to start putting some things together. I think I don't know if I take TCU 60-1, or the books are telling you they're about to go on a run. West Virginia and Oklahoma both sitting at 70-1. Texas Tech, Texas, and UCF. UCF's at 90-1. Texas Tech and Texas are both at 75-1. Oklahoma State at 90-1. Where's the next one? Kansas State 130-1, and everybody else is 200-1 or longer. 250-1 for those Jayhawks. Troy, I think you teased it. Best value, Longhorns.
Yeah, I mean, at 75-1, I do like Texas. At 70-1, I also like West Virginia. I don't know. I feel like the 60-1 line on TCU just has a lot to do with how much they were bet coming into the year. Just after last year's run, and then they probably have an issue with how much money is already on TCU before they start putting them at that 75 or 80-1 mark, and everyone else can just hedge their own TCU bets at a better number. So maybe that's why they're not as long as some of these other teams. But I think you would go with Texas and West Virginia. Just cover your bases with two futures on some pretty long shot numbers. I mean, having JJ is just, it's hard to bet against the best player when you're trying to, look into the futures market. If West Virginia is going to make a run, it's going to be because JJ kind of puts the hitting on his back and shows as to why he's, going to be a future everyday MLB player. I don't think you can pass on that. This isn't just, a Homer West Virginia podcast, not for me, at least. I just like how they're playing and how they've responded to early season struggles and really still kept grinding and all that. Baseball is definitely the sport where you've got to have the shortest term memory of all time, because most of the time you're failing. And it just seems like West Virginia has that. Like, the guys on that team are willing to, next at bat is all that matters. The most recent one is already long gone. So I don't think you can pass on that 75-1 Texas and 70-1 West Virginia.
Rush?
Yeah, I think that's right, Troy. I mean, I think it comes down to those two schools. 75-1 for Texas, because it's Texas. It's the blue blood. They seem to always kind of figure it out last second when it comes to baseball. And then the West Virginia argument. They have one of the best, if not the best, prospect on their team, and a team surrounded by that. And I'm glad you brought up the mindset thing, because that's so important in baseball. Is they don't care if they're in a deficit or up a million. Like, they're just always focused on that next play. And the famous saying, right? You can't hit an 8-run home run, or, you just one bat at a time, one get on base, or one pitch at a time. I don't mean to be the downer. These are College World Series odds. And while I would love a big team to win, Big 12 team is probably not going to win. So there's that. But if you are looking for the best value of the Big 12 team, it's one of those. I'm not in love with TCU. For some reason, they're getting 60-1 odds. I don't understand that. Maybe this is the weekend they take off. They started the season off great, but you got to compete a little bit better in the Big 12, especially at home. Like we said, UCF, the other one on there, like, I've seen what they're capable of. They're just not there. I think they're actually overvalued, probably because they are UCF and located in Florida. So if you're going to pick a Big 12 school, one or the other, just throw a dart at a board, and there you go.
After you go, Ryan, do you guys have any outside of the Big 12, any of these teams stick out to you as well?
Well, I was going to say just future Big 12 members. I do see Arizona at 75-1. So I was just curious where the future Big 12 members are. Colorado doesn't play baseball.
No, they don't
correct?
have baseball.
Yeah.
Nope. Club.
But Utah does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Utah's 300-1. What's Arizona?
Can you imagine being on the club baseball team in Boulder, Colorado? That's got to be a fucking awesome. Oh my god! Just standing out in the outfield, burning fucking weed heaters, just chilling.
Did Dion be fucking tweeting at you that you're a bum for playing?
Yeah, I would have caught that ball too.
Fucking Dion, that dude. Colorado football's turning into a clown show more and more each day. Can't wait to break down that team preview. Set your alarm clocks for when I get done reading off departed players and incoming players, because it's going to be an hour and a half just reading off their departed and incoming players. But Arizona State's at 250-1. So I like them last year, and they did come up short. It's kind of Oklahoma State in a nutshell. I like Oklahoma State. They're the only team in both top 5 offense and defense. They're at 90-1. Maybe they get hot. They got a veteran manager, Josh Holiday. They've lost in the regional 3 straight years. They haven't been to Omaha since 2016. I feel like they're due. I kind of feel like they've been knocking on the door. Maybe they break it down here. Texas Tech's got the best offense. If they get their bats hot, 75-1. And then, of course, I'm definitely going West Virginia just because it's May. You got the narrative there, too, with Mays' last year, Weatherholt coming back.
Now that Jackson Holiday has been sent back down to AAA, is he allowed to play for Oklahoma State again?
I wish.
Because if so, that 90-1 would be sweet.
It'd be fucking cut right in half to fucking 50-1. So
I was going to mention just seeing Wake Forest at 14-1 really stands out to me. That's a team that really seems to always compete. I know the SEC is pretty stacked, and that's probably, you've got A&M and Arkansas right there at the top. But 14-1 at Wake Forest is one that draws my attention.
I like that. I can't wait. College baseball's got the most underrated postseason. Tell you who else is underrated. That's Underdog Fantasy. The NBA playoffs are here, and our proud sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, wants to make things a lot more interesting. Easiest place to play fantasy sports. Play the pick'em. Enter 100 times your money payout, and they're available in California, Texas, and hell, even Canada. Troy, you got anything cooked up on the NHL front? I know you've been killing it on Underdog Fantasy.
Yeah, we're rolling with the usuals tonight in an elimination game between Toronto and Boston. Brad Marchand's going to get on the score sheet, so higher than half a point for Brad Marchand is something that you can pretty much roll with for almost every playoff game. And then Max Domi for the Maple Leafs. It's not going to be any of the pussies on the top line or anything like that. It's going to be the actual guys that aren't afraid of getting body checked by the Bruins that are actually going to show up. And Max Domi's had a lot of goals in elimination games. So I see the higher than half a point on him, and put those two together for a quick 3-1. That's our puck pick for tonight.
You heard the man. Get on over there to Underdog. Play it. Higher, lower. We're playing higher tonight. But, yeah, Underdog is available in 30-plus states, including California, Texas, and Canada. They also just launched Champions, their player versus player format in the great state of Florida. Make sure you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we're back and ready to rock and roll on the Big 12 College Experience. Actually ready to get out of here. Gave out some futures, previewed the weekend. Football, we got the portal is closing up. We're going to be ramping up our football content. Basketball as well. Portal's ending there. Teams starting to solidify their roster. Talked about Javon Small already. And so, yeah, go check out all our content, our college football experience, college basketball experience. I'll be there actually tonight breaking down my updated way too early preseason top 25 with some futures. But I don't know. Rush, any final thoughts before we dive on out of here and get ready for a nice weekend in baseball?
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy birthday, Troy. Let's rage this weekend.
Troy?
The
counter.
the Javon, happy Cuatro de Mayo, and the subsequent super hungover Cinco de Mayo attempt. We'll see how that goes. Probably not well.
Is it Sunday the 5th? Yeah, Sunday's the 5th.
Yeah. I get back-to-back Saturday birthdays because of leap year.
There you go.
Yeah. You're right.
So I also want to say that Javon Small is 100% just sliding right into that Raekwon battle spot where if you ever see him drop like 8 or 10 points in a game, just go ahead and bet the over for the next game.
I hope you're right.
Be prepared. You can almost put them all in right now if you want to. Just bet the over on him for all 32 college basketball games right now.
Well, I don't know if they're out, but yes, I'll keep it in mind for next year.
How do you have back-to-back Saturday birthdays? That doesn't make sense.
Leap day.
Yeah, leap day pushes it an extra day forward. Your birthday would be on a Thursday last year.
He felt like it was a Saturday.
Yeah, Thirsty Thursday turned into Saturday real quick.
I feel like maybe it was a Friday and now it's a Saturday.
That's not how leap year works, but it's dude, Troy, every day's a Saturday for you, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, this shit show of a show is over. All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Like I said, go check out all our channels of College Football Experience. Colby will be ramping up his team previews here in a month. He's doing him, NC Nick, Patty C, diving into matchups. I think they did week 4 or 5 last night. They're doing FCS Experience, league previews. I'm doing over at the College Basketball Experience portal every single night or every other night. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday is our new schedule. So set your reminders. Football's on Wednesday. A lot. Just get on over there and subscribe and turn on your notifications, and you'll get a notification when we go live. And go check out the College Baseball Experience with our guy, Noah Beanick, doing a hell of a job. Just had a member from the MLB.com over there breaking down some of the draft prospects, including JJ Weatherholt. So get on over there. Go check out the Ryan and Rush show with myself and Rush. Go check out the Main Sports Gambling Podcast with Ryan and Sean as they get ready for the Kentucky Derby, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and all that good things. He is at Rambling Rush. He is at Troy Chewning. I am at Moneyline_Mac. We are the Big 12 College Experience, and we are out of here.